It was like being on a rocket ship. And I was going to be a millionaire. So then I called all of my friends and told them they could be millionaires too if they came and worked with me on this incredible ride. This was before cloud computing, and it was expensive to host online storage. So our burn was quick, and we ran out of money fast. Nearly 3 years later, we found ourselves bankrupt. And I had to lay off all of my friends, and eventually myself. I was devastated, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I was 23, unemployed, broke, and I didn't know what was next. But I believed in the opportunity of the internet, and I believed that eventually it would become incredibly big. Unfortunately, the track record that I currently had of bankruptcy was not an ideal track record to get a loan. So, decided to call the one person who I thought might be able to give me a loan, probably because they didn't understand what the internet was. So I called my grandmother, my 90-year-old grandmother, and I said, "Hey, Grammy, I have a great idea for an internet marketing company." And she said, "What's the internet?" I said, "Don't worry, it's going to be an incredible investment, but I need $10,000. She says, "I don't see how $10,000 is going to build you an internet marketing company, whatever that might be, but I believe in you." So I had $10,000, and I called my parents. I said, "I'm going to start a company." And they said, "Again, your track record is not so good. Maybe you should get a real job. This internet is a fad." But I didn't believe them. So I bought a computer, I bought a GoDaddy account, I got a website, and I got a one-way ticket to Hawaii, where I could live rent-free with my boyfriend. Sound like a master grand plan. And when you think about Hawaii, you think, wow, it's so beautiful. I can't wait. I'm going to learn to surf. I'm going to dance a hula. I'm going to drink pina coladas. But it really looked like this. And I spent nearly 3 years at this kitchen table. 10 feet away was actually my boyfriend's sister and her friend who also lived with us. And they were glaring MTV, very high, smoking weed. So there's like a smoke coming into my kitchen, which was now my office. It didn't seem like this was going to be the company that I had envisioned in my head. But it was free. So I continued on, and this company eventually grew as digital advertising continued to grow. So I went from my kitchen table to growing the company to over $100 million, to selling the company to a digital advertising company in Germany, to then selling it again to Singapore Telecommunications, which is one of the largest telecommunication companies in the world. From there, I decided to invest. I didn't invest in ideas, I invested in people. And when I look back at over the 70 startups that I've invested in, and what made them successful, what was that red thread? There's been 14 exits, 1 IPO. Most of them, as we know, take a long time to build great companies. But ideas are a dime a dozen. And the one thing that separates success from failure is execution. And execution is a skill that can be learned. There's 5 traits of execution. I'm going to share 3 of them with you today, and the other 2 are in the book. The first is vision. Vision is about having a crystal clear picture about what you want to achieve. When I sold my last company, I put a Post-it, this is actually it, on my bathroom mirror. And every day, I'd wake up and see it, and every day, I'd go to bed and see it, and it was crystal clear of my vision. We had ambitious goals. We had raised a lot of money, but that was running out. So in order to continue my vision, continue to build my company, I needed to find a strategic buyer before we ran out of cash. So as the months went on, and the bankers and the lawyers trying to get the deal done, this Post-it fell down the drain. I taped it back up again. But eventually, we sold. About 8 months, three days, and we had less runway left. So it was an incredible testament to having that clear vision with the date. According to Dave Cole, a professor at Virginia Tech, people that write down their goals are 9 times as more likely to be successful over the course of their life as those that don't. Seems simple. I don't know why everyone doesn't do it. It may look silly, but I don't see it that way. It's been an incredibly powerful tool. But having a vision is not enough. It's rough out there, as I've seen. So you need resilience. This is the ability to get back up when you get knocked down. My first company, being an internet company, you didn't need a lot. As you know, I only had $10,000. But I did eventually invest in a database. And I can remember one day walking through IKEA, and my tech guy called me on the weekend. Said, Kim, we lost the database. And I said, well, where do we find it? I don't understand. We lost the database? Can I help you? How do I help you? So before cloud computing, the database had a virus and was destroyed. Now, I didn't have enough money for a backup. And I can remember getting hard to breathe and walking through IKEA, and it's got those mazes of furniture, and you can't get out, and I thought I saw the light, and there was trees, and it ended up being the garden section. I couldn't figure out how to get out. And eventually I got out. I thought, what am I going to do? The entirety of my business was in that database. I was so embarrassed. I was so distraught. But having been there before, I thought, well, this is the worst that can happen. So on Monday, I called all my clients, and I told them what happened. They'd made a bet on me. They believed in me. And they gave me a second chance with the prerequisite that I would get a backup server, which is what I did. And those relationships were key to that success. When people look at success, they hope it's up and to the right. But I have never seen it that way. Success has ins and outs and roadblocks and smoke in your kitchen, which could be your office. It's hard. It's not a straight line. Let's see if we can, yes, this is what it looks like. But those relationships were key to my success. And when I look back, having healthy, supportive, inspiring relationships has been key to me continuing to persevere when the times got tough. When I started, everyone was a naysayer. The internet, that's a fad. You should definitely not do it. Get a real job, Kim. That was nearly 20 years ago. And I remember seeing this quote by Jim Rohn, which is, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I thought to myself, the 5 people I'm spending the most time with, they just tell me that this isn't going to work out. I should think twice about this, because this is not going to help me achieve my dreams. So what did I do? I made a list. And I put a plus next to the ones that were inspiring me and challenging me and supporting me to achieve my dreams. And I put a minus next to the ones that were draining me and telling me it wasn't going to happen and were not supportive. And then I audited them out. Just, that sounds like pretty harsh, I guess you'd say. And I don't see it that way. It makes space for new friends and new relationships to emerge. And those relationships inspire you to dream bigger and do better. This has been a very, very powerful process in my life. And I continue to do it. When I look back from the kitchen table to selling my company, selling it again, to investing in the companies, to writing a national bestseller, and then speaking here to all of you, I think if I can do it, anyone can do it. You can do it too. So I challenge you. Build the vision you have for your life. Surround yourself with healthy and supportive and inspiring people. And audit out the ones that aren't. And when you get knocked down, get back up again. Thank you.